to me, it's an art. To me, it is the universe as creativity. The universe is a creative force. The older I get and the longer I teach, the more I have access to that creative force. And it just feels like it's natural, and it feels as natural as I often say is drinking water, and
Hmm.
following the course of nature as it recreates itself.
Hello, Douglas.
Hey, Rob.
So for our viewers, I'll give a quick little introduction to what we're up to, and then we'll introduce Douglas and dig in a bit. So in this talk, we're gonna talk a little bit about how yoga and meditation can really help impact our emotions when we're having a bad day or when we're stuck in a state of frustration. So we'll talk about that a little bit, and then Douglas is going to guide us through a meditation, a little bit of preparatory movement, and then we'll sit in a meditation for a little while, and then we'll come back and notice the effect that that had on our emotional state. So that's what we're up to. And Douglas, welcome.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you so much for inviting me once again.
And
It's a pleasure.
for folks who don't know you, Douglas Stewart is your official title is Yogi Raj. Is that right?
Well, I'm Douglas.
So he's Douglas. He's been teaching yoga forever,
Yes.
forever and ever. And
I started teaching yoga back in 2020, I believe.
you mean no,
And
no, not 2020. You've been teaching for 20 years, right?
or yes, just about, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So a long time, as you said. I can't even calculate the time, but I got my training through Yoga Zone, through Alan Finger and that whole organization. And I didn't start teaching right away. It was just an exploration to find out how yoga and meditation could support my life.
Mm,
Um, and I was an actor, a dancer, and it just seemed to be the way to go to keep my own mind state healthy. And as I was competing or auditioning for roles and all of that, and it just felt like it was a nice way to support all of it. And truly, it wasn't that I had intended to teach or anything. I was just using it as a lifestyle enhancer.
mm,
And I found out that it really, of course, it's true. It has helped
it
me a
is.
great deal as a tool. Moments of frustration, as you said, all of those different distractions and different pulls and pushes that the impact that the world has on all of us. I found that meditation and yoga helps to stabilize me and ground me, um, and offers me an avenue for creativity and spontaneity,
Mm,
and gives me a viewpoint on how to see myself, not so much through a critical lens or a judgmental lens, I should say,
mm,
but through a lens that incorporates a more holistic view of myself
mm.
rather than a very limited view. I found that meditation and yoga helped me to see differently, a different paradigm.
And one thing I'd like to share for people who are watching this is that Douglas really is an artist as a yogi, and your classes are I would say very innovative in a way in terms of the sequencing and everything. And there's a whole bunch of us who show up on Friday nights, and we show up and we're a wreck, and we're just like, and Douglas knows exactly what to do and brings us to this wonderful place of stillness. And we were joking around when we spoke last week that when you're, tinkering with technology, it can be really frustrating. And then if you know exactly what to do, you solve something. And and Douglas kind of knows how to bring us to that place very directly. And on the other side, it's just like, oh my God, my nervous system has reset in a way, which is really, really powerful. So that's what we're up to.
I find that it's linked to to me it's an art. to me, it is the universe as creativity. You know, it
Mm,
feels like the universe, this where we are embodied, the universe is a creative force. And as I tap into by quieting my mind, all of those, um, that potential becomes available to me. And so it's as the older I get and the longer I teach, the more I have access to that creative force. And it just feels like it's natural and um, it feels as natural as I often say is drinking water, you know, and
mm,
following the course of nature as it recreates itself, root or seed, root, trunk, branch, fruit, and it starts all over again, you know,
mm,
and each time it starts over, there's a little more variation, a little bit more adaptivity. The light is different, the surface conditions are different. And so nature is always creating and rearranging in order to bring about that particular pattern over again. And I just kind of find and follow that course through the meditations and through yoga. Um,
and I think,
and changes because the class structure, the people that are in the class, we're all different. I'm in a different state of mind. The
mm,
conditions outside have changed. um, the energy in the room has changed.
mm,
The social climate outside is always changing, and we're constantly asking ourselves, what do we how do we respond to this?
mm.
How this is the material we're using in order to move towards a deeper understanding of ourselves. We're just using what's available to us. And we learn, or I learn, to listen and feel and follow the flow of energy or prana, or yes, that's
And,
what,
and you know how to find that place. Like, you know, when you're getting warmer, when you're getting colder. You know, I think we've all had experiences where you find yourself very centered and it can be like, how did I get here? Right. And you've had so much experience bringing yourself there and bringing other people there that it just, to the outside, it looks very effortless. Like, oh, wow, he knows exactly what to say tonight. And there is a bit of a structure to it. Um,
yeah,
but I'm always struck, like, wow, we get there. Like, I don't know how we're gonna get there, but we do get there. So
yeah, yes.
so with that being said, shall we get there?
Let's go there.
So all right, I'm gonna turn off my camera for this part, and you do your thing, and I'll come back at the end.
All right. This will be a this will be a brief meditation, one that I use frequently whenever I'm frustrated or challenged or just needing a little bit of a vacation here in New York from um, busy day and all of that. It's just nice to just settle down on some point, morning, afternoon, evening, and just touch the center of yourself or myself. Um, I like to come into a cross-leg position lately. You don't have to. You can sit on your sofa if you want to, or a chair, or whatever is comfortable for you. The only thing is just keep in mind that you want your spine to stay alert. You want your spine to stay alert and upright. If you find that your spine is collapsing or even over rigid, it means that your mind is also following the state of your of your posture. So slumping or sleeping or overworking. Just an upright spine, alert and present. You found a nice, comfortable place to sit. Your spine is upright and alert. You can turn your palms of face down on your legs and then close your eyes. And here we're just getting the lay of the land, I like to say, just figuring out or seeing what is our state in the moment. It may be agitated. It may be a state of frustration or anger even, or overwhelming emotions. It may be a state of curiosity. Whatever, just notice it. Give your attention to it. This is our state in the moment, but also feel how you're connected to the ground. And that connection to the ground, to the surface that you're sitting on, I call it the ground, feet and legs, sitting bones, touching down onto that surface that we're calling the ground. Perhaps there's a sense of support and steadiness that begins to inform the moment. Safe, steady, supported by the ground. And then that state that we were observing, state of being, state of mind, begins to respond to that security, the tensions that we were feeling initially begin to transform as you observe. You feel that you can relax your legs deeper. You can let go of any gripping in your legs, your hips, your feet. You find that you can relax your belly and your chest. Your shoulders can fall from your jaw. And that your spine is alert. And your head floats just above your shoulders. A little bit of a change in your state. Bring one hand to your navel and the other hand to your sternum. And as the tensions continue to dissolve in your body and even in your mind, just gradually shifting. You can actually feel your breathing under your hands. Just notice that you're breathing. And something happens in your mind. The mind gets quieter to experience it, the gentle flow of your breathing. And gradually there's movement of breath in both hemispheres. The lower hemisphere of your torso, where the lower hand is, and also the upper hemisphere of your torso, where the upper hand is. Without any force or strain, your breathing begins to regulate so that there's just movement in both hemispheres. Find yourself more present. Open your eyes just softly and rotate to your right. Your hands can reach down as you rotate to the right. It's just a soft rotation. Your hands land where they need to for support. You'll notice that there is a gentle compression right around the middle section of your torso, right around the navel region as you rotate to the right. Use more of your torso rather than cranking your shoulders or using your arms. Use more of the obliques to rotate. And then stop before you overdo. You want to just feel or notice that the midsection of your body is just made into a compression here as you've rotated. And then close your eyes again and just feel how your breathing flows into this part of your body. A gentle massage, navel region. Twists are great for just purifying. And any sluggishness in the inner organ is just soothed by your breathing. Feels like the breath just sort of brushes the organs encased in your belly. Let's go the other way. Your hands just lift so that you can rotate to the left. They land comfortably down. You can close your eyes and just feel the gentle pressure applied here by the breath, by the rotation, by the movement of your breathing is just enough to soothe this area. Let go of the rotation. If you're sitting in a cross-leg position, it's nicer for this moment to just let your arms and hands extend away from your hips. My arms are long and I can touch the ground easily. You might need a block or something underneath your hands or pillow. We'll just pause here in this triangular shape just to notice the state that we've arrived in. Just that little bit of movement, focused energy. This triangular shape just draws the energy from the earth through the body, upward through the body to the top of your head. Take your left hand up and just reach right up to the ceiling with your left fingers. Let the sitting bone, the left sitting bone, reach deeper down. Create a nice line of energy on the left side of your body as you stretch up deliberately. Feel the space that you're making also in the spaces of your spine between the vertebra. lengthen on an in-breath. And when you're breathing out, walk your right hand along the ground to the right, away from your hip, away from the right hip. The right fingers can spread on the ground, but the top fingers, the left fingers, they can collect. And for now, just look down toward your right hand and get your mind or focus your attention in such a way that you can actually feel breath moving on the left side of your body. You want to feel it. And all those knots and tangles that have accumulated on the left side of the body, just lengthened out and released by this stretch. If you want, you can look up beyond your raised arm. And as your sitting bones root deeper down into your pillow or into your chair, you can roll the sternum slightly more towards the ceiling. Come up, your hand comes down. Close your eyes and just feel energy beginning to move now through that left side. Take your right hand up. The right sitting bone roots down. The right fingers draw up. We're stretching to make space along the right side of the body. The left hand walks farther away from the left hip. You're looking at the left hand initially. And then you get yourself quiet inside, quiet enough so that you can actually feel the right side of your body responding to the gentle flow of your breath. Look up beyond your raised arm. Send your sitting bones deeper down. Roll the sternum a little towards the ceiling, a little bit. Take an in-breath that stretches you more if possible. Then come upright and your hands flow down. Your head comes back to the center. Close your eyes and just feel its energy. And just notice your state of being. Let's breathe deliberately now. As you're breathing in, send your arms out and up. Your palms touch above your head. When you're breathing out, your hands float down. As your hands float down, let your spine grow taller. Breathe in, your hands reach out and up, palms touching above your head. Imagine that all of your cells drink this in-breath. When you're breathing out, your hands float down and your spine gets tall. In, out. In, out. And for now, we've been sitting here for a while. Will you step your feet onto the mat so that your feet are parallel to one another and your legs are parallel to one another? And just a little rest here as you lay your torso onto your thigh bones. A little rest. You're looking right toward your navel. And you're watching to feel how supple the back becomes as you breathe in and out. These shifts from congestion to expansion. Feel how your back responds to your breathing. Come upright. Slip your hands just behind your pelvis, your fingers pointing forward. Your feet are against the ground. And as your shoulder blades come towards one another, you can take your sternum just slightly higher than the horizon, and your eyes will follow that same trajectory. I always have trouble saying that one. Trajectory. Your eyes following the same passageway as your heart. You just move breath, a little back bend. Come upright and lean your torso onto your thigh bones. If you're sitting on a chair, it's fine. You can fold forward right onto your thigh bones. Those of us that are sitting on the ground, your knees are bent perhaps, and your torso rests right on your thigh bones, this forward fold. It's soothing to the nervous system. Come upright and return to your cross-leg position. Or if you're sitting on a chair or sofa, you can stay seated there. Close your eyes. The energy is flowing differently now than when we began. You're more present, more alert, the moment more inviting. Slip your left palm underneath your right armpit and your right palm underneath your left armpit, and maneuver your fingers into the spaces between your ribs. And if possible, let your thumbs land down onto your pectorals. Grow your spine, but let your shoulders float down away from your jaw. Close your eyes. Your arms can hug down on your hands. Once again, you can feel your breath under your hands. Just feel your breathing. Take a full breath in, so that as you're breathing in, the intention is to allow your ribs to swell into your hands. And your lungs flow into that space. And of course, when you're breathing out, the ribs retract, the lungs deflate, the navel floats back a little. Develop another in-breath with the intention of letting your ribs just swell into your hands, gradually, gracefully. The lungs flow into that space. When you're breathing out, the lungs deflate, the ribs retract, and the belly flows back. Explore 4 more for yourself. If your lungs are rigid, then you're working too hard. Keep your lungs spongy as you breathe in and out. Now, over time, you feel that you have the ability to balance the two lungs like two balloons, equal in volume. There's no rush. After about 4 rounds of the balancing breath, you can let your breath return to its natural way, no longer manipulated or orchestrated or extended. Your breathing returns to the way it flows naturally. But your palms can, or your hands can come down onto the backs. The backs of your hands can come onto your knees, thigh bones. Your palms are facing up, and the tips of your thumbs and index fingers touching each other. Your eyes are closed. Your spine is alert. Your legs are rooted. And you just feel your state. Just notice. Imagine a light at your tailbone. And when you're breathing in, draw that light up your spine to the top of your head. It feels like a cool current of light. And when you're breathing out, move the light that you've collected at the top of your head down your spine to your tailbone. Feels like a warm current of light flowing down. Play like that another 5 or so for yourself. Mind, it's so quiet and concentrated to bring it about. Let go of the Kriya, let go of that breath, extended breathing up and down your spine. Just notice your inner state, your inner terrain. Energy that we generated and that we release from tension and strain by some simple movements, by the manipulation of your breathing, by focusing your attention. That energy seems to draw us deeper towards the inner quiet, like rivers flowing into the ocean. Just observe. The mind is busy. Just notice that it's busy. Just give your attention to your busy mind. It's okay. There's no need to investigate. Just observe. Eventually, those little eddies and whirlwinds or whirlpools, thinking subside. come out of the meditation, you can bring your hands to your navel, making a fist with your right hand at your navel and your left hand around the fist. And as you fold forward a little bit, you feel how your hands move deeper into your belly. This is a grounding technique so that you're not flighty or spacey. And the information from the meditation can be assimilated and supported. Upright. Open your eyes softly to the ground. You can lean forward a little bit, place your hands right onto the ground to continue to ground. Your eyes are slightly open. And then come upright. I hope that serves you and supports you. Thank you.
Serve me. Well, thank you, Douglas.
Thank you, Rob. I hope that helps you, me. It certainly helped me
Yeah.
from all that we went through before while putting it together, uh, the logistics of putting the computers together and all this for the for your all of it. Just I feel so much more present.
Yeah, and I think it's good to take a moment and notice the difference, right?
Yeah.
Notice that, at least for myself, it really sort of calms me down and I feel refreshed. Um, and I think there's something about, you know, in the beginning, I did have a lot going on in my thinking, and little by little going through those different, you know, you're guiding our attention to different places. And by bringing the attention somewhere else, it gives our mind a moment to step away from everything that was occupying our mind.
Yes.
And
It is really about concentration and so our minds, my mind is so used to just being, distracted onto different points all the time, and there's never really a point where, rarely a point, or oftentimes there are lately these days, but to concentrate or hold attention onto a particular point for a number of minutes, say, before the mind gets bored or sleepy or agitated and needing to move. And so I find that just by shifting the points deliberately still gives you some command of
mm,
your mind, but doesn't allow it to get bored right on initially at the beginning of the meditation. Of course, as we move deeper into the meditation, the focal points are fewer and farther apart until we finally
mm,
land on one where the mind hopefully has been trained enough as we've been shifting momentarily. I think of it as moving like from right bank to left bank as we're moving down the river.
mm,
Finally, we land on a focal point and are absorbed by it. And even in a busy mind, all of that congestion in the mind, you can focus even on that stuff. That's a focal point too. That's a
mhm.
very available focal point.
Yeah.
But then time there becomes this sort of space around that busyness that's even more inviting than the busyness itself. And even in the busyness of the mind, there might appear some pockets of
Mhm.
space, you
Yeah.
know. And the more
Yeah.
you practice the meditations, the
Mm,
more one is drawn to those places of spaciousness as focal points.
mm. Yeah, and in the same way that you get better at guiding, right? We get better at getting there, right?
Yes,
So like, oh,
yeah,
this I know this path. I know where we're going now, so
yeah,
I can get there a little bit more quickly.
yeah.
So,
And you can do it yourself too, you
mhm.
can And it's nice to just simply watch. I love to watch. I think of the meditations more as like watching weather.
Mm,
It's just like rain or clouds or whatever, and then all that stuff, I can feel it and see it. And then I just notice how it passes. And then there is this sort of clarity that comes
mm,
always.
mhm.
If I'm there with it for a while, it will pass. And I realize that that was just that state.
That was a storm, right?
That
Or
was the
yeah,
storm.
yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
Rob.
it's always a pleasure, and I look forward to these. So
Thank you so much for inviting me. I hope it helps everybody.
yeah, great. Thanks.
Thank you. Namaste. Peace.